protectors of the Sunnah followers, protectors of the Sunnah.
Ina alhamdulillah wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Welcome to another session of our Hadith class. And we are studying almost at the end of the book entitled 55 Hadiths on Islamic Behavior and Morality. And this book is compiled by Sheikh Muhammad Saeed Atli. And tonight we'll be discussing Hadith number 51. We're almost at the end of this book. Hadith number 51 addresses preferring others over yourself. This hadith is narrated by Abu Huraira. He says that a person came to the Prophet and said, "O Prophet of Allah, I am so hungry." And the Prophet sent a message to one of his wives to cook some food for this man. But she sent the message back saying, "By Allah, there is nothing with me to serve him except water. All we have is water." So he then sent the same message to another wife, and she gave the same reply that she didn't have anything but water too. And he went down the line until all the wives had the same reply. None of them had anything but water to serve. So then the Prophet ﷺ said, "Allah will show mercy to he who will entertain this man as a guest tonight." And then one of the men from amongst the Ansar stood up and said, "O Messenger of Allah, I am ready to entertain him." So this man took the guest to his home and told his wife, "Is there anything with you that you can serve?" She said, "No, we only have enough for our children." So the man said, "Distract the children's attention with something." The Prophet ﷺ said, "Distract the children's attention with something. And when the guest enters, put out the light and give him the impression that we are eating." So they all sat down and the guest had his meal. And when it was morning, in fact, this was the man, this hadith is so poorly written. It was the man who told his wife to turn out the lights and then feed the guests. So that way the guests would have the impression that everyone was eating, when in reality it was just him. So they did that, and after the guest had his meal, the man sent a message to the Prophet who said, "Allah was happy with what you and your wife did for that guest last night." So here, this hadith teaches us to be generous and kind to all people. And also we learn from this hadith that Allah is aware of everything that we do. Allah sees everything that we do. He knows our predicaments. And for us to choose to be as kind as this man and his wife were, this brings about lots of reward from Allah. And we can also see again another example of the Prophet Muhammad's character. How when he found out that he could not feed the man any food, how he stood up and announced, "Can anybody else come forward?" The Prophet made sure that that man had some food to eat. So this is something that we all can benefit from. How does this hadith impact you in your life? Anyone would like to share?
I'm like, I had to read that because it sounded like he took the food out of his children's mouth, dimmed the light to make whatever. But I see that the children were fed first and then they shared that with the man. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah, he made the man think that they were eating, that he and his wife were eating when they weren't.
But the children did. Yeah. The children did eat, right?
Mm-hmm. She said, "We only have enough for the children." He said, "Well, and ourselves." But he told her, dim the light so to give him the impression that we're eating with him. The children, they put the kids to bed,
But they ate, right?
Mm-hmm. So the man was thinking that he was eating with the man and his wife when he really wasn't. Yeah. That's how hard as we get further into the story of the life of the prophet with Brother Mukhtar, you guys will see why Allah loved the Ansar. The Ansar were the most giving of all people. They and it's not that many of them living today. I asked the question, are there any Ansar around? It's not that many. There's still a few Ansar in Saudi Arabia, but not that many from that tribe. They were so giving, that they would do this sacrifice of themselves just to get the reward with Allah. That's why you will never be a true believer until you love the Ansar. And anyone that hates them, Allah hates you. Because these people, even if they would have put their children to bed without food just to feed them. But in this case, that's why I say this hadith was poorly translated. They fed their children. That's what he told her, to feed the kids and put them to bed. And then turn down the lights. Let the man think that we're eating with him. But they didn't eat. They gave their share of food to the man. But that's how giving they were. They would share the last meal they had with a stranger. Yes. Anyone else?
I think it was pretty. Oh, go ahead.
Go on.
Oh no, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, all right. That's a beautiful story, and it just warms my heart because it makes you. They didn't let the children go hungry, but and they put them to bed. The way they maneuvered it in such a way that they fed this stranger, food that they might have eaten themselves, and it's obvious that they were probably hungry too. And they were so charitable to the stranger. And they made him think that they were eating also by turning off the lights. And it just allows you to know that so much is lost these days as far as charity, with each other, even amongst many of the Muslims, they're like, oh, I'm not going to do it. And they can afford to do it. And how much we've lost of the sunnah, and how it's just it's sad because first thing I thought of was first thing that came to my mind was like, wow, they're gonna get so many blessings for this. Allah is gonna bless them so much, and I believe that Allah did.
Yeah, he did. He did. Yes. The Ansar. Yes, they were unlike any other people. That's why the prophet said to love them is to love Allah. To hate them is to hate Allah. Exactly. Go ahead, Sister Mina.
I think that was actually beautiful too, because it's just like back in the old days, and just like my mom, when she had like 8 kids. So it's like to feed, when you have a whole lot of people, you only have a little bit of something and you still able to feed, or you have like beans or something and you kind of like spread it throughout a whole bunch of people. So I thought that was actually beautiful because they didn't even get to eat their own self, and they was cared about the next person. So I thought that was beautiful.
Yes, something that we can implement. What sacrifices have we made for the sake of Allah? That's what set the companions apart from other people. That's why they are the best of this nation, because the companions sacrificed. They sacrificed their lives, their homes, their food, their property for the sake of Allah. How many of us are doing that? That's why, I tell you guys, every day that we wake up and we thank Allah for putting our soul in our bodies, ask yourself, what can you do today to earn his pleasure? What sacrifices are you willing to make? I sacrifice my sleep. I say, I tell you what, Allah, I can do it. I'll sacrifice another day of sleep for you. Oh, Allah, I'll sacrifice my health for you. Just to get your dawah out, to get this knowledge out. We have to, whatever you're good at, like I told you guys before, whatever you're good at doing, do it to the best of your ability and do it consistency, because it becomes a sacrifice, from you to Allah, You know, how many of us are willing to do that? That's the question. Like tomorrow, like I was telling you guys earlier, tomorrow I'm going to have to substitute for Dr. Asson. By the way, let me announce that so I don't forget. We'll still be having the classes with Dr. Asson's tomorrow, but I'll be substituting. But it's tiring, but that's the sacrifice I'm willing to make for Allah. I'll sacrifice. Well, I did sleep. I slept the past 2 days at night, so I'm cool. You know, I'll just sacrifice my time for you more. What I got to do? Run to Starbucks and get coffee. That's about it. I ain't got to punch no time clock no more. Thank you, Allah. You know, I ain't got to worry about where my food coming from like these companions did. Thank you, Allah. So yeah, I can sacrifice another day of sitting on the computer, another hour. That's all it is, another hour of sitting here for you. I'll probably be sitting here anyway doing videos. What's the point? Might as well run my mouth while I'm doing it. So, subhanAllah, what sacrifices are we willing to make for Allah? That's the question. Anyone else would like to share? Go ahead. Nobody else? Okay, I want to thank everybody for joining and participating in this session. And like I was saying, Dr. Asson had that heart attack, guys, and I think he's still in the hospital because he hasn't, he told me that wherever he's at, he can't use the phone. And we understand now that means he's in ICU and can't use a phone. So I'll be doing his class tomorrow at 6. And what we're going to do, I want you guys to just beware, because be aware tomorrow, what I'm going to do is give you guys a name of Allah. I'm going to just pull one from my mind. And I'm going to ask you guys to tell me how you will incorporate it into your life. I'll go right down the list, person to person to person. You all should have different answers anyway. How you can incorporate that name into your life as a characteristic. So that class will be at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And then we have my regular class, the predestination, will be at 7. And also tomorrow we have the resurrection. The resurrection will be at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we have a lot of classes for tomorrow. I want you guys to make sure everyone is here. Get your children here to participate too. The knowledge that we're trying to put out here, you're not going to get like this anywhere else. So take advantage of it. So subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.